What's up, Vetters? Patrick here with Vetted. Today we're talking about this. Oh wait, actually don't have an intro for today's video because today is one of the wildest, craziest videos I've ever made. And I did a lot of research and vetting for this video. In fact, it's about 2 in the morning and I'm still working on this video. Mind you, everything you're gonna see today, I did today. Edited it, researched. This is a crazy video, as you're about to see. So let me just unpack the story. All right, Vetters, please hit that like button. I really deserve it on this one. And if you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button. So I'm out today. My wife's getting her hair done and I'm hanging out in this beautiful old Spanish town, filming some stuff. Beautiful place, absolutely gorgeous. And then as I'm sitting having a coffee, I check Twitter and see this, which is apparently a leaked Signal chat message from Pippa Malmgren, which we'll get to that in a moment of who that is. But let me read this leaked message first. AI is an alien. Well, that alien is now ripping through all the classified systems, tracking all the cash flows of the secret programs, mapping absolutely everything that the compartmentalized systems and secrecy protocols were meant to keep obfuscated. The White House now controls the most up-to-date version of Pegasus, which means the AI can reach even into private sector financial data too. Though, as always with Pegasus, Elon, the new leaders of the intel community, and the White House will not advertise this. AI is stripping away all the camouflage. Then decisions can be made about who to hold accountable. That's what I think Lou means by ordnance inbound. Aliens are being revealed by an alien phenomena. So fascinating. So I'm like, what the hell is that? Because a lot of people are talking about it. But there's something quite interesting about that message. Now, I'm not going to focus on Lou's ordnance inbound. I don't care about any of that because as I dug deeper into this, what I found out is crazy. Sort of. You'll see.
I do want to start off with something that you actually tweeted out yesterday, and this was that ordnance inbound with these rockets or missiles launching. I just wondered if you could clarify what that was about.
To the bigger issue here, a lot of people, I know they get frustrated because they might see me on a podcast and they'll say, well, Lou isn't telling us anything new. Well, look, I hate to say it, but that's not my job to tell you anything new. All I'm simply doing is keeping the public informed to whatever degree I can of what I'm doing behind the scenes to help drive disclosure and greater transparency. It's not to reveal the secrets of the world or national security secrets to people. That's not the way I work. And after 7 years, people should know that by now. So yeah, that was intended for a very specific audience. There are things happening, I think, behind the scenes that's going to be very telling. 2015 is going to be, 2025, forgive me. Not a Freudian slip, just not enough sleep. 2025 is going to be, I think, a good year. There's a lot happening.
So let's take a closer look at this message. As you can see from the top, there's something obfuscated there at the top. There's a date, right? It got screenshotted and you can't really see the first part of the message. It says, it's ironic, and then it's closed off, right? Well, I figured out exactly what it says. And by figuring out everything it says, it changes everything. I got to keep the mics on, so let me thank the Pendragon Cycle for sponsoring today's video. The new trailer for the Pendragon Cycle just dropped, and I'm reacting to it. From the visionary mind of Stephen R. Lawhead comes the Pendragon Cycle, a breathtaking new series that finally fills the aching void in epic fantasy. This is Arthurian legend reborn, not the familiar tale of the king, but the origin story that started it all. Shot with jaw-dropping cinematic scope, every frame feels like a big-budget theatrical event. Sweeping landscapes, colossal battles that thunder across the screen. Practical sets and costumes so authentic you can almost smell the mist and iron, and magic that crackles with raw, tangible power. This is high fantasy at its most immersive, a vast lived-in world dripping with history, prophecy, and ancient bloodlines. The attention to detail is staggering. The atmosphere is thick enough to touch. The Pendragon cycle isn't just a series, it's the foundation of the entire Arthurian saga, told on a scale we haven't seen in a long time. If you've been starving for a new fantasy epic that looks, feels, and hits like a cinematic masterpiece, this is it. The king is coming. The cycle begins now. Pendragon Cycle Rise of the Merlin premieres exclusively on Daily Wire Plus January 22nd, 2026. Please click the link in the description to watch the full trailer now. So, because this is talking about AI, I decided, well, let's ask AI what it says. The partially cut off text right behind the date, Sunday, February 9th, says, "It's ironic, you." Why you? The full sentence starts with "it's ironic, you," and then continues on to the next line with "YS, AI is an alien." So, the hidden partially visible part is just you, most likely the beginning of Yudkowsky or Yuval, etc. But in context, it's referring to Eliezer Yudkowsky's warnings about AI. And what? So, well, let's verify this because AI isn't always wrong. And I know I got that name wrong, but we'll get to that in just a second. So first thing I did is look up what's the font for Signal chats. And, well, it told me Roboto. And I went into, my editing programs and basically laid that out, right? Yudkowsky says, and look at that, it fits perfectly, right? And especially when you consider the context of the entire message, that's exactly what's being said, right? So, and look, I can check, look, it's going back and forth. You can see that fits perfectly if you ask me. So I think that's exactly what it says. And by it saying that, right, it changes everything of this message because everyone's saying, oh, Pippa Malmgren is saying AI is alien technology. Actually, it's alien. No, that's not what she's saying at all, right? So let's first find out a little bit more about Pippa Malmgren, and then we'll talk about who this Yudkowsky guy is. So this is Pippa Malmgren.
We're all on a quest for something that is truly, truly invaluable to humanity, which is abundance. Now, what are the sources of abundance? What is this new space race about? It is about the hunt for unlimited energy, unlimited resources, unlimited internet connectivity, unlimited computational capacity, and new physics. These are all by themselves invaluable prizes, but together, this is a new chapter in human history.
And she's also the daughter of Harold Malmgren. If you remember, Jesse Michaels did a deep dive documentary, interview with him right before he passed, and they released, a video about it, right? Well, in the description of the YouTube video, this is what they say about Pippa. We are extremely grateful to Harold's incredible daughter, Pippa Malmgren, for co-hosting this discussion. She was special assistant to President Bush and a member of the National Economic Council. Now, I do have a clip from Jesse's interview that I want to show you because this is all a spider web that I'm going to bring together for you here. But before we get to that clip, I want to show you who this Yudkowsky guy is and, how to pronounce his name exactly.
The problem is that we do not get 50 years to try again and observe that we were wrong and come up with a different theory and realize that the entire thing is going to be way more difficult than we realized at the start. Because the first time you fail at aligning something much smarter than you are, you die.
The following is a conversation with Eliezer Yudkowsky, a legendary researcher, writer, and philosopher on the topic of artificial intelligence, especially superintelligent AGI and its threat to human civilization.
So he's an AI expert, and he basically was saying some stuff about AI that Pippa just quoted. But as we're going to dive deeper into this video, this got crazier than I could have ever imagined because she brings up something called Pegasus. What's that?
Tonight, we'll take you inside the growing, shadowy global market of cyber espionage. We look specifically at a controversial Israeli company called the NSO Group, valued at nearly $1 billion, that says it developed a hacking tool that can break into just about any smartphone on Earth. NSO licenses this software, called Pegasus, to intelligence and law enforcement agencies worldwide so they can infiltrate the encrypted phones and apps of criminals and terrorists. Problem is, this same tool can also be deployed by a government to crush dissent. And so it is that Pegasus has been linked to human rights abuses, unethical surveillance, and even to the notoriously brutal murder of the Saudi Arabian critic Jamal Khashoggi.
Oh. Shit. Okay. That's not good, right? Listen to what real whistleblower Edward Snowden had to say about Pegasus 4 years ago.
So, Ed, could you just give us your initial reaction to the findings of the Pegasus project?
This is everywhere. This is an industry that should not exist. We're seeing what the NSO group, which is sort of the most famous of these guys, is up to. But the NSO group is only one company of many. And if one company smells this bad, what's happening with all the others? I mean, when I look at this, what the Pegasus project has revealed is a sector where their only product are infection vectors, right? They don't, they're not security products. They're not providing any kind of protection, any kind of prophylactic. They don't make vaccines. The only thing they sell is the virus. And I think saying that they only sell this to government doesn't make that better when you look at who the targets are that have just been revealed.
And it gets even weirder because Yudkowsky, put out an article in 2007 talking about alien sort of thing. You'll see what I mean. It's not really the same thing, but he has brought up something similar, and I think just people are getting it confused.
An Alien God by Eliezer Yudkowsky. Published November 2nd, 2007, 6:57 a.m.
But there's also a part in that message that Pippa talks about the White House having the most powerful AI, right? Pegasus, to look into all this stuff. And I thought to myself, I've heard that before. Where? Oh yeah, from whistleblower Matthew Brown, because he tweeted this out. Hey, Elon Musk, interested in a real asymmetric vantage to wield in this political adventure you have started? As you now know, the White House has long possessed a unique AI capable of accurately predicting a range of future events. Talk about some stiff opposition. Okay, so what? Right? Is this the same thing? And look, if you're not familiar with who Matthew Brown is, let me refresh your memory.
And we will hear testimony today concerning recent revelations about a purportedly secret UAP program whose existence and findings may have been improperly withheld from Congress. This is going to be the original document about Immaculate Constellation.
Those of us who've been following this very closely have been hearing whispers of the words Immaculate Constellation for a few months now.
The Immaculate Constellation, it's a UAP reconnaissance program. I can affirm this 100%.
What is in here is wild. I mean, and I'm paraphrasing, but reports of F-22s getting boxed in by flying orbs that they couldn't shake. There were satellite images or satellite image of a football field-sized flying saucer hiding in clouds.
I have personally walked people into members' offices for private meetings so they could see eye to eye and they could meet.
You are the author of what the world knows as the Immaculate Constellation Report.
Let's talk about secrecy and the UAP topic. Shouldn't it be secret to some degree? I mean, we have, there's a race for the technology to try to understand it. We have adversary nations who'd love to get it ahead of us. Why not keep this stuff secret?
Well, if it was just technology that we are worried about protecting and maintaining a military advantage, there's strong arguments to be made and have successfully been made for decades in this country that the American leadership and American people seem to be finding acceptable to be left in the dark about where science, technology, and their military is taking them. This isn't just technology. This isn't something somebody came up with in a lab and it's sensitive because once the cat's out of the bag, anybody can do it. Fundamentally, this comes from and is secondary to what we've been told is the biggest question, which is humanity alone? The answer is no. And the secrecy that has been defended is at the cost of, in my mind, human dignity, freedom, and progress. And it is no longer permissible or acceptable in my mind to continue this course, to deprive another generation of not just Americans, but humanity of their birthright to know who they are, where they came from, and what's with us.
And what's interesting about that is if you check the description of that video, it says this. In 2024, an enigmatic term began to percolate among a small group of UAP investigators. The name was Immaculate Constellation. Anyone dared to even utter that term would put their own lives at risk, according to persons familiar with the program. IMCON, the abbreviated version of the term, was brought to the attention of Congress. Members were told it was a cover term for an unacknowledged special access program housed within the executive branch, specifically under the control of the White House. IMCON was supposedly a highly secretive program that relied on artificial intelligence to secretly scour classified servers used by the US military and its intelligence agencies to search for and snatch images of UAP encounters. Okay, so that's interesting. It's in the description, but when you search the episode, they don't talk about this, but they put it in the description, and I checked. You can't find anything about it. And not only that, all 3 episodes I couldn't find it. It's a 3-part interview on Weaponized with Matthew Brown. There's no mention at all. He never says it out loud. Only in that tweet, and it's only in that description. Now, does that mean anything? I don't know, right? But that's interesting that Immaculate Constellation may be this same thing that the White House has with Pegasus. And if you remember from the Immaculate Constellation report, Elizondo's name is all over it. Ordnance inbound, y'all. And then, just a few days ago, the White House announces a brand new AI program called Genesis. Check this out.
Now to the White House's plan to put Washington front and center in the AI race, comparing what they want to do to the Manhattan Project. The research project that gave us the atomic bomb. It's called the Genesis mission, a government-wide push to fast-track AI breakthroughs in energy, science, and defense, with the Department of Energy at the center of it all. The plan unites AI research across 17 national labs and some 40,000 DOE scientists, creating one coordinated federal AI platform for the first time ever.
And not only that, I went to the Department of Energy's YouTube page. Yeah, they have a YouTube page, and they released this video about it.
In every age, humanity invents new ways to see further. The telescope let us glimpse the stars. The microscope revealed the worlds within us. For centuries, thinkers like Leibniz, Shannon, and Turing dreamed of making all knowledge computable. But today, knowledge grows faster than our ability to understand it. Trillions of data points, a universe of information still unconnected. Now, a new instrument emerges, one capable not only of observing the universe, but of understanding it. Genesis mission will transform how science is done in America, uniting our brightest minds, most powerful computers, and vast scientific data into one living system for discovery. Built on artificial intelligence and quantum computing, it will radically redefine the scale, speed, and purpose of scientific progress in America. This is the work that will define our generation's legacy. A new revolution begins, one guided not by competition alone, but by curiosity, imagination, and the belief that discovery is the truest form of progress.
And I'm still confused on what the hell that video was about, right? Like, honestly. So let's go back to that news program and let them explain a little bit more about what this Genesis program is.
Joining us now to break all of this down and help us understand what is going on is NBC News reporter covering AI, Jared Perlow. Jared, thank you so much for joining us. Big picture, when you hear the comparison to the Manhattan Project, a lot of people think, okay, are we in that type of scenario where they feel like this is some sort of next war endeavor or frontier? What do you make of it having a name and kind of the references to the Manhattan Project?
Yeah, so I think this is a tremendous shift in kind of America's approach to AI, or really, I think it's a reinvention of kind of federal backing of AI projects. So we've seen throughout the Biden administration, earlier in the Trump administration, kind of federal efforts to back AI, but this is kind of the first really concerted push throwing the heft of the federal government behind the development, research, and application of AI. So as a colleague said to me, if it really was the Manhattan Project, we probably wouldn't be talking about it because that remained secret for quite some time. But I think, I don't know if it's similar to the Apollo program to, reach the moon, maybe something like President Biden's cancer moonshot. But I think it is a really substantial, declaration by the Trump administration that we're going to focus on using AI to search for scientific discoveries and basically change the way that scientific research is actually conducted in America.
And first of all, I think I've seen that guy before.
What would you do if you had $1 million?
I'll tell you what I'd do, man. 2 chicks at the same time, man.
I knew it. All right. So, look, remember when I told you about that Jesse Michaels clip from the Harold Malgrom interview? Well, check this out.
Well, tellingly, Harold told Pippa on his deathbed and off air that the CIA and Atomic Energy Commission got the very idea of shooting down UFOs with directed energy from an extraterrestrial being that survived the Roswell crash in 1947. This being was apparently the sole survivor of that crash. Harold even told Pippa that later in his career, he saw the video of this creature being interviewed. And there's a direct link between the Bluegill Triple Prime tests and Star Wars, or the Strategic Defense Initiative that later took place in the 80s. You see, the Bluegill Triple Prime tests inspired Edward Teller's X-ray-based Excalibur designs, which formed the basis of Reagan's Strategic Defense Initiative, popularly known as Star Wars. Star Wars involved a massive network of directed energy weapons for missile defense. It also involved satellite tracking, an immaculate constellation, if you will, for UFO shootdowns and tracking. This, of course, begs the question, was Star Wars always dual use and intended for shooting down and quarantining UAP? And if these very concepts came from the sole surviving being from the Roswell crash, it begs the very important question, are we involved in some sort of bizarre extraterrestrial proxy war? Ultimately, one can only speculate.
Why the mention of Immaculate Constellation, right? What's all coming together here? What the hell is going on, y'all? I don't know. But this is absolute rabbit hole if you want to get involved. Does the White House have a program, an AI program that can predict the future? I mean, they just announced this Genesis thing, right? Bringing it all together. This has been percolating. And now, is that what Immaculate Constellation was this whole time? I mean, again, I'm so confused. And Pegasus, what about Pegasus? Is that involved? Right? Pippa is saying it's Pegasus, right? That's behind all this. And we all heard what Pegasus is. I mean, are they coming for our phones? Edward Snowden's involved, right? Saying this. And we all know what he said, that they were spying on us through our phones. I am absolutely terrified and don't know what to make of any of this, right? But that initial leaked chat message was taken the wrong way, to be honest. And it hasn't even really been verified that Pippa really put that out, right? But I'm just like, everyone's running with AI is alien. That's not what's happening at all. That's not what's said in that message, if that message is even real. But so many people are talking about it, I had to cover this. And the rabbit hole I went down and uncovered is scary, right? Is that what's going to bring disclosure? Is this Genesis program via Pegasus, via, I don't know what the hell's going on, right? Matthew Brown, has he known about this the whole time? Is this what he's talking about? Again, I don't know. A lot of dots to connect, but still so much space between them. I don't know about you, but I think I'm more confused than I ever was.
Shit, no, man. I believe you get your ass kicked saying something like that, man.
All right, Vetters, look, we'll see you guys on the next one. Remember, every day's a gift, y'all. Peace.
Patrick, don't you worry none about shaving. You look just fine, honey. You're doing a great job. We watch you every day. Keep it up, and we appreciate you. God bless you.